Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, guys. I see a lot of excitement in the chat. I'm excited. My first crypto guest today. The WeGro crypto team is upon us to share everything there is to know about their new amazing project that just got launched onto the marketplace in December. So yes, it is very new. It's very unique, to say the least. There's a reason that I chose this crypto team to be my first crypto guest. If you guys know me well, if you know me well from my poker streams, you know that I love crypto. If you are joining my channel for the first time via the WeGro community, welcome in. Appreciate you guys being here today. And again, I'm very excited to share, along with the WeGro team, obviously, their plans for the future, everything you need to know about their project. And as always, as I always say when I talk about crypto on my poker streams, I am not a financial advisor. Do your own research. The purpose of this stream is not to get anyone to invest in the project, but more so to drop knowledge, educate you guys, and let you know all about this new exciting thing that's going down. Obviously, crypto has been getting more and more adoption as more time goes on. And I think we'll see that trend continue in time. And I'm really excited to roll out everything that WeGro has in store and let you guys know all about it. Awesome team. They have an awesome community. And again, thanks to all of you for tuning in. If you're new to my stream, my name is Michael Loncar. I'm an America's Cardroom sponsored pro. I've been a professional poker player for 14 years now. I'm 35. It's crazy. Crazy to say 14 years as a poker pro, but here we are. Just started this talk show stream a couple of months ago, and I couldn't be more excited to have my first crypto guest on today. So with that, let's get it going, and let's introduce the WeGro team and the WeGro project to all of you here. Let's get it. All right. So here we are. The WeGro team is here and on set. We have an awesome team here. Unmute your mic. Unmute the mic, guys. Unmute the mic. Thanks for being here. Hey, there we go. So there is Walt Rampada, the Chief Executive Officer at WeGro Coin. Walt, thanks for joining us here today.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you.
And now let's say hello to Sean Crawford, the president of WeGro Coin. Sean.
Thanks. Hey, guys.
Hey,
thanks.
Michael. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Sean. And we've got Rick Gilchrist, the chief operating officer at WeGro Coin. Rick, say hello.
Hi, guys.
Hey, what's up, man? I love the office. Looking nice. And we have Justin Marr, who is... Justin, how would you... What is your title? The techie awesome... behind the scenes guy, Justin.
Yeah, I guess I kind of cover most of the social medias and just general crypto advice, being part of some different projects in the past. So
perfect. Well, thank you for being here. And as we talked about before the stream, I'm sure you'll be the guy that we'll turn to when we have the technical crypto type of questions, as I know I've got some poker crypto viewers here. And Philip in the house. What's up, Philip? Thanks for being here, brother. Vivian in the house. Ship it to Papa. I see a little mixture of some new, as I said, some new viewers here in the chat. Again, welcome. Thanks to all of you for being here. So let's start off by you guys telling me, whichever one you want to jump on the ship here, of what is the WeGro project. If you were to explain it to someone that doesn't know crypto at all, how would you explain the WeGro project? I'll let one of you decide which one you want to jump on that one.
Is that me or Walt? You gonna take it, Walt?
I go for it, Sean. Well, and let me do a lead in real quick. Sean, our president, was where the seed of the beginning of this company started. So no better person to explain who and what we are than to start with the person who started it to begin with.
Well, yeah, thank you. But yeah, it's definitely evolved a lot since the first initial thought kind of came out on how to get people to be involved in the cannabis industry, hemp industry, that might not have had a way to be involved in it before, in a way in which that industry could benefit the people. At first, it started out as a simple idea that was a little bit unrefined, and what we developed was a way that people could compliantly invest in the cannabis industry, and by investing in the by adopting WeGro coin. And so I guess just to give a breakdown of what WeGro is, we're a Binance token built on Binance Smart Chain. We there's 8% transaction fee, where 5% of that transaction fee gets redistributed to all the holders of WeGro. So if you buy WeGro, if you hold WeGro, 5% is distributed in the form of Smart Chain BNB. We do this so that there's no downward selling pressure on the token to keep a more stable price. People want to sell off their reflections, and they can do so without that negative effect on the price. Or reinvest back in the WeGro. And 1% automatically goes back into liquidity on Pancake, raising the relative price floor. And then the remaining 2% is what WeGro is all about, in the sense that we'll take the 2% and we'll put it back into cannabis supply chain businesses. Could be anything from a point of sale company to a data company to it could be the greenhouses that house the businesses. So regardless of whether the cannabis business makes money or not, the supply chain business usually does, because people still have to pay their bills. People still have to process payments. And so that's where WeGro comes in. We're there to use these businesses as a way to expand the ecosystem. And by expanding the ecosystem, we have more adopters, which and more information that we can extrapolate, which inherently benefits the community as well. So, which is the next component about WeGro that makes it interesting as well. So, not only does the businesses in which we purchase go to expanding the amount of holders that we have in WeGro, which raises the relative price floor, as well as the transactions, which equals a larger volume, which benefits the holders, especially those receiving reflections. Which with each transaction, as we develop and move to our next stage, we are looking to I guess I have to kind of describe it from the top, from the top out. So, we're developing a blockchain, a data blockchain that when you do purchases with WeGro, that we'll be able to collect anonymous data. It's your choice whether we collect it or not, but collect anonymous data where we inherently will license that data back out, and then the profits of that data goes back into the liquidity of the token, raising the price floor, which has a positive effect on WeGro coin itself. So maybe Rick could explain the data part of what we do a little bit more, but that's WeGro in a nutshell, and that's I guess a top-down view of it.
Perfect. Thank you, Sean. Walt?
Yes. Good morning. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Question? Is there a question?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So I guess so something I have to say, obviously listening to Sean, and just something that's on the top of my mind is, for those of you that know me, I've been heavily in crypto for almost 2 years now. And to me, there are 3 checkboxes that I check off when I'm looking into a new crypto project. Number 1, easy to understand use case. WeGro is a very unique project where their tokenomics incentivize people to hold and not sell. number one. Number two, which is something we'll go over a little bit later in more detail, they have a restriction protocol that literally restricts their team members from selling more than a certain amount so that the market can't be dumped, and which is amazing. And also, for me personally, what is basically the third thing for me that's really important for a crypto project is to have something that in my mind has a big use case but can hit a big market. And to me, I think everyone in this chat would agree that the marijuana industry, the medical marijuana industry, has been just increasing massively year by year, every year. And the fact that this project incorporates blockchain with the medical marijuana industry and investments, to me personally, is an absolute goldmine idea. And on that note, as awesome as this crypto project is, and it is awesome, the team members are awesome. So right now I want to go into each of your introductions. So Walt, if you could do me a favor and give me your background, how you came into WeGro, and a little bit about yourself.
Fantastic. That's easy enough. My name is Walt Rampata. I'm the CEO of WeGro Coin. I came to this project with 30 years essentially in the marketing realm. I am also an entrepreneur by trade. I've started a number of different companies throughout the course of my career. I'm losing track at this point. I think the number's 5. And most of those companies, technology or marketing related in their focus. I got into the cannabis and hemp industry for personal medical reasons about 10 years ago. I have 3 crushed lower discs in my back, and as many people would expect, that's not something that feels real good on a daily basis. So opioids were a part of my story, unfortunately, or fortunately. I'm on the other side of it. I'm one of those lucky few that got to the other side. But I have cannabis to thank for a good vast amount of that journey. I dove in feet first once I start to understand the dynamics of the plant, the chemistry behind the plant, and even the science. Once I got into the industry, I very quickly jumped into a marketing role, working with a publisher in Baltimore, and launched a cannabis publication, during which time I also got to film a documentary called Hidden Within: The Science of Miracles, during which I met with the leading doctors, scientists, and researchers around the globe at the forefront of cannabis, endocannabinoid medicine, and phytocannabinoid supplementation. And got a ridiculous education and exposure to the industry at many levels. And from there, took my knowledge in marketing and eventually launched a couple of businesses. One with my friend who is also on this call today, Sean Crawford. We launched a company a couple of years ago called U.S. Hemp Farms, a farming genetic services company located in Pennsylvania. So I wanted to get as close as I could to understanding the dynamics of the plant, all the way from seed to patient. And then additionally, after that, I launched a full service marketing agency focused on the hemp and cannabis industry. Both those companies are still in existence, still doing very well. And it's what led to, some of the dynamics of what I understood about the industry intimately, having operated it in the cannabis hemp industry from the inside out. And there's a great many challenges to those that are operating within this industry today, from financial to logistics to technical, that the blockchain itself inherently offers a lot of potential solutions. And so when we started to look at this project, there was some interesting dynamics that got me very excited, and I'm sure we'll get into them in the rest of this call. But that's me in a nutshell. My main focus day to day with the company is marketing related, given my experience, and so I drive everything that's happening within our communications, our brand, our strategy, and how we relate to the public, and continue to grow our business.
Awesome, thank you, Walt. Appreciate you. And that is the CEO of WeGro right there, Walt Rampata. And let's get Rick, the COO of WeGro. Let's get a little intro from Rick. How you doing, Rick?
Good, Michael. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm actually not one to usually talk about myself, but I will say how it's so applicable to WeGro and WeGro data and WeGro coin. Yeah, I guess you could say I've been a serial entrepreneur. I cut my chops in Fortune 100 companies 20 plus years ago. Worked in fintech on Wall Street as well. Started a couple of companies that had some really great exits over the years, but more notable within the cannabis industry is that I was one of the co-founders of New Frontier Data, which was the largest aggregator of legal cannabis data, the transactional data, if you will, nationwide in the US. That company has since grown tremendously in the last 7 years and is still one of the preeminent DSPs within the industry. But over time, we looked at, and I say we as individuals in the industry, investors, owner operators, people that have looked at the legislative side and the compliance side, down to the medical health and wellness side, weren't asking all the right questions. And we could see that everything was what we like to call net value. People have been using relational databases for years. I mean, that's just what the industry standard has been across multiple industries. But you never know what is really happening behind the data, why negative data exists, the outliers. And it can be really frustrating because the data is only as good as what goes in there. With blockchain, you can't change that data. It's an immutable record. So when you're working in a database underneath an ERP or a point of sale or track and trace, inventory control and management, you only see what's really the final product that's coming out of that database. In blockchain, you know exactly what happened at any given time. And you have a record of every change as well. So you know what's actually happening on the front end and the back end as it relates to utilizing a blockchain. And that's why it's so important in the project and what we're building by looking at both the token, if you will, as a separate utility token and the data that's behind this. And what's really unique about what we're building and how we're building it is because we're putting the power of the consumer and the patient and the business data back in your hands. We already know that you are the product when you're logging into Facebook or Instagram, when you're using Google and even Amazon. That data is not yours, and other companies are monetizing your data. We're building something that's going to allow you to monetize licensing and sharing your personal information, but anonymized information to those that are already buying it. On top of being able to add utility to being able to share that data. And we can talk about some of those actual use cases further on in the show, but it's really unique to see what we're moving to as our token is spinning up and as we're growing and we're creating this community-driven token and ecosystem.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks a ton, Rick. Love hearing the previous companies and your background history. Thanks for sharing that, man. Thanks for being here. And I got to say, Wiz Crypto in the chat says, he said, thank you for your courage and story, Walt. And also said, great team, so well-rounded. I was just thinking the same thing. Love hearing the background of you guys. Let's have Sean come back on. Sean, tell us a little bit more about your background, and also how did you get involved with WeGro?
Okay. Yeah. So, similar to Rick, it's definitely not talking about myself, but, happy to sum it up the best way that I know how. I started off in, the film industry actually, several years ago, probably 25 years ago. And, ran a film production company for years, was usually either executive producer or director of photography on most of the projects I worked on.
Wow, awesome.
A lot of, a few TV commercials, some music videos and movies and things like that. My last movie had Ryan Dunn from Jackass in it and Alan Ruck from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, great guys, wonderful to work with. Colin Quinn was in that one, and kind of who's who of Philadelphia as well. it was good film project. Well, anyway, I did that for many years, and then kind of led me to the cannabis industry, which I've always kind of been fond of and kind of participated in one way or another. In 2008, I went to Colorado and started working on my hemp and cannabis career. And, when things started becoming legal out there, and ended up, going all the way up to the point to where I was managing hundreds of acres. I think at one point in time we had 120 employees that came in and out of our greenhouse that summer. With some amazing results, cut 219,000 clones with a 98% success rate from greenhouse to field. And then, which actually ended up winning me an award for Best CBD Farmer 2018 nationwide at the Indo.
Okay.
Yeah. It was definitely quite an honor. And, it was the largest hemp and cannabis expo actually in the world, really. I guess from there, I've consulted many governments on their laws and some of their practices, and some large multi-billion-dollar companies as well for their hemp cultivation and practices and genetics as well. Which, Walt and I have been friends for several years, and as well as a lot of the people in this project. And, through out of necessity, because banking with hemp has always been a challenge, it gets you thinking about how things maybe could be done better. And blockchain, with its transparency and lightning fast speed and obviously compliance would seem like it would be the best fit for all those things, and from a lot of different perspectives. So I forged a token. I created a website and got decided to go after the name and get all those things together. And we started talking, Walt and Rick Bell and I and John Berger, who's not on here. We started talking about how we could develop this out and make it into something that was compliant. Because as I brought up before, at first it just started out as an idea, but not necessarily a way to compliantly invest in the cannabis industry, so to speak. That's one way to look at it. But the reality is that the holders are benefiting from the expanded ecosystem. So anyway, we'll get into more of that later. But we started up WeGro. We started kind of building this out, and things started snowballing. And that's when Rick Gilchrist kind of came in, and we realized that there was just so much more to this that was possible, and how we could have the holders' interaction with the token benefit the holders, and how and it was kind of a wonderful thing how it all kind of came together. And then the other people in which we've brought onto the project, we just announced last week that AJ Jagori is now on and a part of our team, sits at the head of our crypto and data boards, and is helping us develop out our data blockchain as well as our wallet and API surrounding that. Been extremely fortunate and extremely humbled to have such a wonderful group that calls WeGro home. And actually, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Justin Marr as well. We started talking about this over the summer, and I'll let him tell more about the story. But he's been integral into this success as well. So again, extremely fortunate to have this team.
Yeah. And yeah, Justin, talk to me. You are the behind the scenes guy here, taking care of all the dirty work. How did you get involved in WeGro, and tell us all about yourself?
Yeah, so my background is not in cannabis. It's not in data. My background was for 13 and a half years, I was a financial advisor. That's all I knew. And I got heavily into crypto over maybe the last year and a half. I actually was part of a couple projects that we brought to market and was funders of some potentially named projects. And that's how I met Sean. Sean was in my ear constantly saying, "Hey, you need to look at my project that I want to bring to market." And I was at the point where I was ready to just retire from the industry. I wanted to, I guess for people that don't understand, like if you're really going to run a successful project, it takes a lot of time and effort. It's a 24-hour day job, like 7 days a week. It's not traded 9 to 4 like, the traditional markets. You have to be up at 4 a.m. talking to Europe. You have to, it's a load. And when I talked to Sean the first time, I said, "Hey, I don't think I'm ready for this. I think I'm actually going to leave." And when I exited my last project, the first person that reached out to me was Sean, and he said, "Hey, come look at our project." And I said, "You know what? I'll take a call with you." I said, "At the worst, maybe I'll be an investor. Maybe I'll back the project. I just don't think I don't have the time or effort. I need to spend time with my family. I'm just burnt out." And I took a call with Sean and Walt. After about an hour to hour and a half, I said, "Okay, how do I become part of this?" Because it was a game changer. And what I mean by that is in this space, in this industry, is I would say 99% of tokens. We actually got the data on our last AMA that it was 7% of tokens actually have a real utility or revenue stream or a business behind the token to support it. I would have said it was 99% of the tokens in this space had no use case. And what differentiated them, and this is where the industry is going to morph. If anybody isn't doing this and isn't changing their projects to get behind this type of model, they're dinosaurs. They're going to be extinct in the crypto space. And so what these guys are doing is they're building an actual business behind it that's going to pump revenue back into the project. So it doesn't matter if a pre-sale person or a big whale or whatever it is, if their tokens makes the chart look, dumpy and looks bad, that revenue is coming back in that's going to artificially push that project and push that price back up in the long term. And all they have to do is execute on it. And they've got some really cool stuff. I'm not from the cannabis or the data industry. I know that they are very different worlds. I know that they're very lucrative. And so when they morphed all of that together, I said, this is a home run. This is something I need to be a part of in some capacity. And so what I've been doing is giving them more background advice, consultation work on how do you actually run a successful crypto project and what are the hoops and everything you need to jump through. And that's really where I fit into the picture.
Okay. So I say this all the time on my stream. In fact, Basta in the chat says it. He said in the chat here, he said, Loncar is not a financial advisor. He lets us know all the time, LOL. But you are a financial advisor. You are actually a financial advisor. That's awesome.
I am. I'm not currently with my firm anymore. I actually stepped aside when I jumped on board with this team, probably about a week before I jumped on board with this team. So then that way there is no compliancy issues or conflict of interest. I gave all my clients to a couple other partners and said, "Hey, I'm going to take a sabbatical from our firm for the time being. I really need to focus on these other projects." So technically, I'm not a financial advisor anymore. I still have all my licenses. I can go to any firm if I wanted to. And so again, same thing as you. Don't take anything I say as financial advice per se.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks a ton for that the introduction, Justin. And the word that's coming to my mind right now after hearing all four of them speak, experience. And obviously this crypto project specifically has some key things to it that other projects don't have. And obviously it's funny, timing is everything. Me and my wife actually went to a friend's wedding, her cousin's wedding in the last couple months. And it was at this mansion. I mean, we actually found out it was bought for $2.5 million and it's now worth $3.5 million. And I'm talking just like my dream, massive backyard, almost like a park with like a sidewalk throughout the backyard and a big grassy area and a pool and a hot tub and you name it. And lo and behold, we found out that this gentleman who is allowing Alex's cousin to have the wedding at his house owns a bunch of medical marijuana dispensaries here in Northern California, and that's where he's made his money. Me and my wife then have had little conversations of looking into investing into the medical marijuana industry just because it's just booming so hard, and definitely a thing of the future and something that we expect to continue to trend and continue to grow. And again, that's what I love so much about this project, that it allows token holders to get a small piece of the medical marijuana industry. And that's the next part that I want to talk about. As I spoke about earlier, one of the things that I really look into when I'm looking into a crypto project is the tokenomics and the use case, of which I believe WeGro has very strong tokenomics and a very strong focused use case. So with that being said, I think it's an awesome thing to talk about now, the feature of WeGro. Anytime that someone sells the WeGro token, there's an 8% fee. 5% out of that 8% fee is equally distributed in the Binance token to all token holders. 2% is distributed out for the business acquisition and ecosystem expansion, aka investing into the medical marijuana industry, and 1% out of that 8% fee goes back into the liquidity pair on PancakeSwap for a stable price increase, which just makes the entire ecosystem stronger. So if one of you, let's go to Walt. Let's talk about what I just described and the 8% fee and how that 8% fee is given back to token holders, and how that also incentivizes people to hold onto this token and not sell.
Thank you. I'm going to field part of this, and at one juncture, I'm going to actually hand it off to either Justin or Sean, because when it gets into some of the real dynamics of it, I can give you my layman's terms. They can really give it to you in much more depth. Here's the value on a global scale, and this is where I really want to position this. This is not just a value from a asset class increasing in value perspective or an investment perspective. This is a value on a much more grand scale. And this is what positions WeGro for longer term growth. This reflection aspect that you've alluded to a few times, the 5% that comes off of that 8%, is redistributed to all the token holders in proportion to the amount that they hold. Makes sense? And that's done on a daily basis. It happens automatically. And that reflection actually comes back in BNB. Now, the interesting part of that dynamic is that it not only produces a scenario where it kind of limits your desire to sell the initial investment and the uptick on that, because you're already getting immediate funds that are available to you. But additionally, what we understand and what we've seen is that it becomes a reinvestment vehicle as well. The people take that BNB and immediately put it back into WeGro to get more growth, and then additionally to get more of a footprint for the next round of reflections. So it's an interesting dynamic in that regard. Where it gets to become a global conversation is when you start to look at countries outside of the U.S. where poverty is and bankability of their citizens are really a challenge. That reflection aspect of our token can serve as a universal basic income potentially, or serve that aspect of helping those populations not only number one become banked and provide them a currency to exchange, because even though almost 90% of South Africa, I recently heard, is unbanked, but most of those same people also have one of these things. So digital currency is something that will offer, and through the reflections and the potential of basic income coming back from those reflections, a lot more opportunity to a lot more people outside of this simple little community that we're starting. So without getting into some of the other aspects of the breakdown, I'm going to pass the mic, but I wanted to put a thumbtack in that because I think that's something that really distinguishes us. Not only, again, because it diminishes the downward pressure that you would see most times from people selling the upticks. Now they're able to get reflections on a regular basis without even having to touch their primary investment. But additionally, it serves such a larger, potentially global changing aspect that I think really differentiates us. So, on that note, I'm going to pass it off to Sean to handle the other breakdowns, because there's some really interesting stuff in that too.
Perfect. Thank you, Walt.
Yeah, no, let me say, Walt, that was actually beautifully put. And that's exactly right. I think that there's so much more opportunity just with the nature of what we're doing for so many more people to participate, whether they are looking to invest in the cannabis industry or not. This is an everyday payment solution. And that's first and foremost, that's who we are as a company. We're an everyday payment solution where you should be, or what we're developing will allow you to pay at the pump. You can pay at the grocery store. You can pay for normal everyday expenses, not just cannabis related. The fact that you're benefiting from that expansion is just kind of a bonus. And the way in which it was designed, for instance, us investing in the cannabis supply chain business is just another really a different way of us saying that, and more appropriately, that we're expanding the ecosystem by acquiring point of sale and data companies that give us more value by giving us more reach, by giving us more information on knowing where to put our resources. It's kind of a perpetual engine that allows the expansion to even then, in a greater way, in a multiplier way, benefit the holder. Just by us expanding the ecosystem and having more access to more anonymous data that can then be licensed and go back into the token, where it then benefits the holder, which we then experience the benefits of the ecosystem of the tokenomics, where it goes directly back into the expansion of the ecosystem, which benefits the holder, which et cetera. So it's the way in which this has come together by having more than just one revenue stream or just focusing on one thing. We figured out a way to make the liquidity a depository for all things that make WeGro go around, so to speak. And the holders are the main benefactors of that.
Yes.
So.
I love this, man. I love this so much. And I love how you guys individually have so much experience. Obviously multiple businesses and whatnot, but specifically in the medical marijuana industry, like nothing to do with even blockchain, but just specifically, you guys have so much experience in the medical marijuana industry. I love that so much. And obviously you guys applying that here to the project is an awesome thing. Did you want to add anything to that, Rick?
Sure, absolutely. And I appreciate the acknowledgement of the breadth of knowledge that we all have, and bringing on, industry veterans in crypto like AJ Jagori have been exceptional in our product development side. This is not just a meme coin that's meant to be a perpetual, system. This is actually a real ecosystem that we're building that includes this permissive data sharing component. We talk about the monetization of it, but we also talk about the utility that we're building. And when we talk about things like permissive data sharing, we talk about, you owning your own data. Sure, yeah, it's going to be great that people are going to be able to monetize their own data, license their data, be better marketed to, help develop new therapies and therapeutics themselves, help to really, peel back the veil around alternative wellness, not just cannabis, but how wellness is approached on a more global scale. We're seeing countries that are, dabbling areas around psychedelics right now, where ketamine is becoming extremely popular for pain management. The fact that these providers and doctors, they don't even know how to share their data right now, but putting that data back into the hands of the patient or the consumer would allow them to share all of that data to better benefit not only themselves, but their providers, the industry on whole, and help to substantiate real research down the line. I think it's really important for us to be aware of that. And when you've got guys like AJ who understand AI and machine learning and understanding how we can analyze this data to benefit everybody globally. And yes, that's a big word to use. And we're talking about this blue ocean theory here, but we really can create some major changes on how we even look at how data is being collected, how it's being shared, and how it's being utilized outside of just marketing. And right now, that's the number one utilization of data out there.
Perfectly said. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And Walt touched on this a little bit ago. I really wanted to talk about the restriction protocol. I found this very interesting, very appealing, very awesome. The restriction protocol. Well, Rick, why don't you describe what the restriction protocol means and what that entails for team members that are holding the WeGro token?
Can I take that?
Yes, one? Sean. Excuse me, Sean. Sean's the man. Sean's got this one.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So the whole idea of the restriction protocol, which is, actually I was talking with Justin, and we're like, well, how do we ensure and how do we convey to our holders that no one will dump on the project? Because there's a lot of projects that are out there that are nefarious, that are intending on dumping or cashing out their tokens, and kind of running away with liquidity or whatever it may be, rug pulls. And wanted to have a way to communicate that, but then also have a way for all the partners, everyone here at WeGro, to have a way in which if we wanted to cash out tokens, we could do it without it negatively affecting the chart in such a way that might be forever damaging. But still give us the possibility of cashing them out for one reason or another, but just not in a way that would ever hurt the coin. And so we came up with the token restriction protocol, which allows us to cash out in a way which we haven't, and we don't really have any designs to, especially with the reflections and the way that is. It really doesn't make much sense. But the token restriction protocol keeps people from dumping any more than 10% of a positive increase day. So say there was a 100% increase that day. Well, we could cash out 10% of that 100% increase. So there would really only be a 90% increase that day. And then say it's a negative day, but we still needed tokens for whatever reason. We just wanted to have that ability, even though it would make no sense for us to cash out on a red day for the most part. But just say we needed access to them. So we can then cash out 1% of whatever negative number. So it goes down 100%. Well, we can cash out 1% of that 100%. So it really, went down 101% because we cashed out those extra tokens. But again, that's not our design, and our design is to hold tokens, but we have a way to do it responsibly that won't affect the community in a negative way. The reflections, we did it also in another way that was beneficial for the community. WeGro itself only receives 10% of any of those reflections throughout all the wallets and everything that we hold. 90% of all those reflections go out to the public. Nice. So we did that in a way that massively benefited the holders. We did it in a way that would be what was best for the community, which we believe is the recipe for a successful coin.
Perfect. As I said, fire tokenomics. I love it. I love it so much, man. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Something else I wanted to talk about that obviously caught my interest. For those of you that saw that, I just showed the WeGro website. And by the way, ! guest in the chat for all of the WeGro links. Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, Discord, Facebook, and of course their official WeGroCoin.com website. All those links are in the chat for you guys to check out. And something I noticed on the site is John Kruk. For you baseball fans out there, I've always been a big fan of John Kruk, and John Kruk is the chairman for WeGro. Rick, tell us about how John Kruk got involved in the project and his position with the team.
Yeah, mute.
Hello?
You're on mute.
I was saying this is definitely a Sean story. It's something that goes back on a personal history, and I think everybody deserves to hear it from the man himself.
Sean, give us the goods.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. John was a part of the first band of brothers, so to speak. I have been talking with John for a few years. We met at a Davison Brothers concert, which actually just happens to be the largest country music concert in America. Good buddies of mine, Davison Brothers, put that on, and Wild and Wonderful Fest out in West Virginia. And just kind of hanging out with him there. He had just got done fighting about a cancer. I'll tell you, like he told me that he was a little overweight. He won't say a little. He said, I was overweight. He had over 23 surgeries from his career in baseball, and kind of, using his body to the maximum of his ability and abusing his body to the maximum of his ability, I should say. And, suffered from a lot of inflammation, suffered from a lot of health issues, and was looking for a better way to take care of himself and something that would be more effective. And so, me being a CBD hemp farmer and my experience with it was that it had done some wonderful things for me and really changed my life around. So, I started sending him CBD products. Here, try this and try that. He lost an astounding amount of weight. The inflammation in his knee subsided. He went from playing 3 rounds of golf and then having to take a break for a few days or a week to playing all 18 holes of golf. He's now doing tours. We'll go out and do events. Matter of fact, it's tough to catch him when he's not on the golf course. He's making decisions on the on the 18 holes sometimes. But yeah, it was just such a positive experience for him. He said, Sean, if you're ever involved in, if you ever do another cannabis project or hemp project, I want in, whatever it may be, I want in. And I was thinking of a good way to include him in on something that we were doing that made sense, that would be profitable, that would be something that would be a good, positive project. And that's what led me into WeGro, because, my experience with the hemp and cannabis industries is it's, it was a big rush to get in. Everyone saw a lot of green, it was the green rush, so to speak. But, because everyone was in there and everyone was in that space, there was a bubble that burst in a lot of areas and a lot of places of the industry. And it wasn't always a sure bet thing that, you had to grow and you were just, it was going to be super successful. Buying into a grow that might already have problems, turning that around to be something profitable, something good is, that's years of work and not something I was shying away from. But when the idea of investing in cannabis supply chain businesses and doing so with a cryptocurrency and doing so kind of in the format in which WeGro evolved to be made so much more sense. And after, some talks with John and figuring out how we could do this and make it work. It was and getting a permission slip from his wife, we decided to push forward. And yeah, John has been our chairman for some time, and he's been a huge asset to what we're doing. He loves getting in on our talks. He loves listening in and kind of helping us steer the ship, so to speak. So he's not just a figurehead. He's a full partner, put his own money in on this, just the same as we all did, and time and energy. And he's a wonderful friend and a wonderful asset, and someone I love working with every day.
Awesome. That's an awesome story. And for me personally, I know a lot of you can relate out there that are watching this today. When you hear what he just said, and John Kruk, he's got a reputation. He's a big public figure. When you see someone, like you said, not only is he just a part of the team and, he is an investor. He is a chairman. He is into this project deep for a reason. That's just one little extra chess piece on the board of making me feel like, oh, dang, this is just, just another thing that makes me feel, there's no other way to say it, makes me feel damn good about this project. That's an awesome thing. On that note, whichever one of you want to take this question, go for it here. Are there any other new additions to the team or any other team members that you want to talk about at this point in time?
Walt or Rick?
Let's say that I'll let Walt see how tight his lips are going to be on this one.
Okay, I guess the ball is in my court. So we've already talked about him a few times on the show. So I do want to pay special mention to AJ Jagori joining our team. We are enamored to have him on day-to-day calls with us and getting to know him individually as a person. He's gotten an incredible wealth of knowledge and experience, and in a fashion that far surmounts the many people. Just put it there, and on a global scale. And as we look to the future of where we're headed, having somebody that instrumental on our team gives us a lot of comfort, number one, but number two, gives us a lot of confidence, understanding that we have some real experience on this team, as you've already alluded to, in some very specific areas that will help us really scale. Having that level of capacity is magic chemistry at times. But to have somebody like AJ in the middle of all of that is, mind blowing, honestly. And what's really exciting for me personally, and I think I can speak for a number of the members of the team, is the impact that having AJ involved has on a much farther reaching basis. AJ is involved in a lot of other associations and advisory boards and places of interest. And that said, the things that we are able to interact with AJ on will have much further impact, and that in my mind is humbling. So I want to put the mic back to Rick, because he's got some things he wants to know.
Well, I mean, I kind of want to allude to some of the projects in our expansion as a result of AJ and as a result of the community. The community has voiced, what is great about the company, but what could we do better? How could we accelerate the process? How could we increase engagement and actually, fast forward a little bit with some other traction? And what I'm going to lead into is that we've got a 4-phased approach to what we're building right now. And one of our big components that we're super excited about for the community is that you'll see some changes to our website that include a major utility, a major Chrome extension that you'll be able to utilize with our the buying the token, with creating a more streamlined, familiar process with buying the token itself, and not getting hung up with the problems when you're buying through decentralized processing. That's one of the really exciting things, and that's not even part of the actual what we're calling a synthetic ubiquitous blockchain solution that's being built out between now and the next 6 months. We actually have a very, very elegant roadmap, if you will, that really maps out our minimum viable product all the way through our development of a fully monetizable and engagement platform that's going to start bridging these businesses that would normally never be able to even connect, much less on the front end, but more on the back end. So having AJ involved in the architecture and the solution itself, given his work with companies like Celebrity, with Android, of course, with Google, L3 Communications, and that's just a smattering of his experience in the Web 1, 2, and now 3.0. So we're excited because he's a heavy level contributor when it comes to what we're building out and where we're going with this. I know that on the data science side, we're also bringing in what we're going to call a prodigy. We're going to be really excited to announce him in the coming weeks as well. Somebody that's been very involved in the global expansion and democratization of data in and of itself, as well as reaching underdeveloped countries. Lastly, we've been scaling to match the growth that we've already been experiencing, and you'll see a lot more, a couple new faces that are going to be joining us. Hopefully, on our next AMA, you'll be able to meet them as well. I think that we can't not acknowledge the fact that our original marketing team is now a part of WeGro. Taylor Ryan and his team. We've actually scaled that up tremendously. And Taylor, one of the world recognized growth hackers, is now managing that all at the pleasure of Walt. And we're really excited to see that expansion keep going. Some more surprises though, but we really can't talk about them quite yet.
More big announcements coming up soon, guys. More big announcements coming up soon. Yes, that's awesome. Awesome. Let's go now into my favorite part of the show, the question and answer segment. I gotta say, hi Mom, love you so much, Mom and Dad, my little brother, for watching. My mom actually just texted me a question that we will pop off the question and answer part of the segment with. So this is that time for you viewers. If you have a question that you've been wanting to get answered, now's your time to pop it into the chat. And we're gonna start off with my mom's question again. Love you so much, Mom. Thanks for tuning in. My mom asks, can you please ask the team what cannabis product works best for chronic pain?
Ooh, I'll take that one.
Okay.
So I say this from a position of personal knowledge. I'm not a physician in any fashion. But as you've heard through filming the documentary, I've amassed an immense amount of medical knowledge and scientific knowledge, and now very closely follow the medical publications and studies that are being done around cannabinoids and cannabinoid medicine and phytocannabinoids. So I say it from a position of personal knowledge. Specific when it comes to pain, it's many times people will yell out strain names and which is challenging today because there's no standardization in how cannabis is tested. And I say that because cannabis as a plant is organic. You grow it in soil, you grow it hydroponically, you grow it, depending on the medium that you grow it in, how it presents its medical benefits in the plant differ. And yeah, I'm getting head nods from my buddy Sean. Yeah. So understanding that, it's really difficult to say a particular strain is best for pain. But what I will tell you is that there are particular strains that lean towards what are tend to be pain relieving effects. More often than not, what you want to follow is the terpenoid profile, the terpene profile. And that's challenging today because there's only a few states that either require or even produce on their labeling the full cannabinoid breakdown of what's in that jar or what's in that bag or what's in that plant that you're holding. And to that, it makes it more difficult on the consumer. But we're hoping to force change, and that part of that is standardization in many levels, and that includes labeling. We need to be able to, as an industry, understand everything that's in that thing you're holding. The same way when you buy a box of Cheetos in Maryland versus California, you still get an ingredients label on each coast. It's kind of mind-blowing to me that we don't do that for cannabinoid medicine. However, again, going back to terpenoids, you want to focus on terpenoids heavy in myrcene. Myrcene tends to be the one that most often is associated with pain relief. Asamine also has some alleviating effects. And then things like pinene or limonene also can add to that pain benefit spectrum in elevating the mood. So you're looking for a combination. The beauty of cannabis is that once you understand that there are, I forget the number on cannabinoids now because they're growing every day, but it was up over 150 different cannabinoids that are associated with the plant. Were almost as many terpenoids that you can find in the plant, depending on the region and where it's grown and what it's grown in. So what you an understanding that it's an organic matter with all those different chemical components, it's a chorus. It's a cacophony of different things happening that, when combined effectively, can produce different results. And so the things you're looking for are the combinations, the ingredients, not necessarily the THC level. Having a high THC level versus a low THC level very, very often doesn't relate to its pain relieving effects. In fact, there's been studies showing that too high a THC content can actually enhance acute pain effects. So it'll actually make the pain worse. So you're wanting to find things that are high in myrcene, ocimene, and pinene and limonene. What I would also say is that you're going to want to supplement, if you are not already, with the minor cannabinoids, the CBD craze that you hear about. The minor cannabinoids, CBD, CBG, CBN, there are a multitude of benefits in each of them, but specifically CBD has anti-inflammatory effects and autoimmune boosting effects. So with the combination of the both, number one, the autoimmune boosting effects, everybody should be taking it today in COVID years. And there was a recent study published finally supporting what many of us already knew in the industry, that cannabinoids will prevent COVID from being accepted into the cell membrane in the body. So everybody should be taking CBD, but specifically with relating to pain, the THC I give you people this analogy. CBD is a pillow on a chair. You can still feel that the chair is there, but it gives you a cushion and a little bit of comfort. THC, on the other hand, will make the back of that chair melt into you. CBD or THC will make you completely fall into that chair, and the difference being is that CBD is generally good for low levels of pain, arthritic conditions, things that are related generally to inflammation. And obesity is one of those factors as well. So it will also, in lowering the inflammation in the body, we hear a lot of times people lose a lot of weight. Well, it's compounded weight. It's not just the weight of the fat that they're losing because they're exercising more because they feel better. It's also the inflammation of their body that is being diminished, which is a lot larger weight capacity if you were to look at it in grams and kilograms. So I went off on a tangent trying to answer that question, but it's a hard question to answer without knowing where that person is in the country, what they have access to, and what the standards are today. And I'm hoping that changes over time, and I'm hoping a part of what we're doing can help assist in that process.
So now you guys know when I'm referring to someone as the doctor, you guys already know who I'm talking about. Walt, dropping the knowledge on us. Not only are we learning about the WeGro coin, we're learning about the medical marijuana industry and medical marijuana products and whatnot. So I love this so much. Thanks for sharing that, Walt. Appreciate that, man.
You're quite welcome.
Yes. Another question in the chat, which I loved right here. Bosted, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing good, my man. He says, what are their goals for this token 5 years from now? It's a great question. What are your guys' goals? I'll let you choose who's going to answer that one right there.
Ooh. Yeah, I was just like Rick or Walt.
Yeah, I was actually going to point right to Rick because we've been down some rabbit holes on this very recently, and specific to the crypto industry and our involvement with where technology is. Let's start with the fact that we are a technical solution. If we're to look at technology and how rapidly it advances, the 5-year time span is a ridiculous expectation for anybody to theoretically think about. So we need to think about it in more realistic terms, like 3 years, especially when we're talking about technology. And within that, we've got some very clear paths and expectations and roadmaps of where we're headed. Now I'm going to pass the mic to Rick on that one.
I appreciate that, Walt. And, we kind of have to separate what we're talking about versus the blockchain solution versus the future of the token. Because we're sitting in Web 3.0 now. We're no longer just reading the internet. We're no longer, being pushed material on the internet. It's reading, it's writing, it's creating a level of transparency where we know that smart contracts will control user transaction. And we're going to be looking at both DApp and DeFi long term. So when we talk about that, we're not just talking about things like NFTs and buying, 8-bit pictures and thinking that's going to create value. Imagine, if you will, your airline ticket is your NFT. And as part of that NFT, you have your COVID vaccinations embedded into that and verification that you've had your 2 vaccinations and your booster, and your negative COVID test from the 24 hours before. And you're sharing that data with the airport authority, to the airline, to the security, and you're able to get on a plane and travel and get off that plane and then turn that NFT off where it's back to just being yours again. This is where we're going. We're going to the fact that the world is becoming smaller, and data transparency is going to be much more applicable on a day-to-day. Right now, everything is extremely manual, and as Walt and Sean both said, the level of compliance and standardization just isn't there. And I'm not even talking about cannabis. I'm just talking about transparency from everything from anti-counterfeiting to anti-money laundering, talking about the ability to monitor how business is actually done and keeping people, for lack of a better word, honest. So as we're building this out, we're looking at being able to be agnostic. We don't want to be the entire solution. We want to be part of the solution. So we're creating this in a real interoperable way to allow for us to, really create that data transparency. So when you're talking 5 years down the road, we're talking about creating something that's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger over time, that's going to work with the existing solutions that are out there. Trying to really future-proof where we're going in Web 3.0. As far as the token goes, I have my own personal opinions. I know that Sean can jump in this in about a second and go on exactly where he wants to go. But we have to remember our token is utilizing the security features of the blockchain in which it's built on. And when you can start building out your own security and understanding how that transaction is working, and not only are you looking at a transaction for a product, for a service, for transacting between person to person, you're also collecting data along the way, and you're able to really understand economies of scale. It goes back to solving little things like the possibility of universal basic income. So for me, I go back to the blue ocean theory of where we want to go with this. But that token right now is really fueling these projects to create something that's much more valuable downstream.
Awesome.
Can I add to that?
Of course. Jump on in, Sean.
Sure. No, yeah. And that's the wonderful thing about why we chose the supply chain business. And I'm sure everyone can appreciate if you tried to order something for Christmas, it didn't make it. Maybe it's sitting out in LA Harbor, not being able to make it. That the supply chain and our focus there and our focus on the data allows us to make preemptive moves, allows people who license the data to make preemptive moves to address supply chain issues before they become issues. So this type of infrastructure, which is missing currently, is integral and key, and something that we look to bring into fold into our ecosystem. So that's one really cool part about WeGro and the supply chain business.
Perfect. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. I actually have a question now from my boy Philip. You guys know Philip, the man, the myth, the legend. Philip, hope you're doing good, brother. He asks a question I think I know the answer to. I'm like maybe 70% sure I know what you're going to say, but I'm curious what you're going to say to this. It's a great question. Who are your biggest competitors at this point?
I guess I'll start. I would actually classify them as competitive mates. Go back to the fact that we're looking at being agnostic. There are challenges working with, Ethereum right now. Gas fees are astronomical. You look at the speed of what's happening on other networks like Poly and AVAX, and of course Binance. But then you have the restrictions with Binance when it comes to the U.S. So I think that the idea of us being able to utilize a popular high-speed, low gas fee solution with Binance is really setting us in motion to allow us to work with other utility tokens out there. But when you talk about our competitors in the larger scale, the blockchain solution itself, really it's the large integrators out there. And we hope that we're actually working with them, not against them. The way we're designing this blockchain, you don't have to put your company on it. You don't have to program an entirely new app to have to sit on our blockchain. What we're programming is a little bit of secret sauce, and I don't really want to try to give that away. But realistically, businesses will be able to continue on exactly the way they're going on, but they're going to be able to harness the power of the blockchain in a cost-effective way that'll allow them to, again, have that immutable record. So I don't really see competitors out there. I see competitive mates.
I like it. I like that. That's a new term right there to add to your vocabulary there, guys. I like it. The competitive mates. I like it. Perfect. And I believe that is where. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to touch upon here at the end of the show here that we haven't talked about already? I think we hit a lot of bases, hit a lot of good points, and awesome stuff.
Well, maybe you could touch on our ambassador program.
Yes,
that's
okay.
a great. Yes, thank you, Rick. So I'll take a moment and let your audience know. Number one, I want to thank your audience for hanging out with us tonight. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. It's been a pleasure both on and offline, Michael. So I want to say that having just begun this relationship and had some offline conversations, I'm very excited about what I know of Michael, what I've come to know of him and his heart and his family and all that stuff. So I'm very excited about this relationship and expecting his audience is not far from that heart. I'm very thankful to be in any way, shape or form associated with you guys. So thank you tonight. Following that, I want to say we would love to welcome you into our family, our community. Please check us out. Please take a moment after tonight or even right now. Check out our website. Please join our newsletter program. Enter your email address. We are starting a ambassador program. We've gotten so much support from the community about what we're doing, about the flag that we're carrying in many ways because of where this project sits in the center of so many challenges in the industry, financial challenges in the industry, banking challenges in the industry, data challenges in the industry, compliance issues in the industry. We talked about it tonight when it came to the medical cannabis and the consistency in testing across the United States, standardization in testing and expectations and labeling and stuff like that. So there's lots and lots of challenges, and a lot of what we're doing sits right in the middle of that. So that being the case, we're getting a lot of support from a lot of different directions. People that may not even invest, but are really happy just to carry the flag to hopefully see the success and the impact it'll have on the rest of the community at large. So please check us out. Please put your name and an email address in our newsletter. And as we get our ambassador program rolled out, we will notify you, everybody that's given us their email address. The ambassador program that we're starting is relatively easy for those involved. We're utilizing a social ambassador platform that allows us to communicate with every one of our ambassadors on a very easy one-to-one basis through email, and provide them with our content. And by one click of a button, they can choose to share that content as part of supporting WeGro. And what's cool about the platform is it will monetize those actions, meaning it keeps score of how the ambassadors are carrying the flag, and reward actions against that. And within our system, within our ambassador program, there'll be different prizes that the people will be able to be rewarded with. And I can't really get into specifics right now because we're working behind the scenes to define what some of those look like. But we've got some really cool rewards that we're going to be adding to our ambassador program. And so please check us out. Please, if you're interested where we're headed, if you're interested in the things that we support, if you're interested in where the project is going, please join our newsletter. And through that, we will notify everybody when our ambassador program signs up, and we would love to have you join that as well. So great lead in. Thanks, Rick.
Cheers. Perfect. And I actually have one last question from a friend who is asking me to ask you guys about WeMoney, which I'm actually not familiar with. So I have no idea about this. So please, which one of you want to tell me what WeMoney is? WE Money.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's a next stage of our development. It's actually something that's integrated into our wallet, and I really wasn't expecting anyone to know that one. So I don't think we're ready to get into that yet, but there will be more news coming.
More news coming. More news coming. More news coming. As always. Yeah, this is awesome, man. This is an awesome show. This is obviously. I think you can guess which one of my friends asked that question. But yes, okay. So as you guys have learned here today, the WeGro coin already has, as I've said multiple times, super fire tokenomics, awesome use case, and as repeated multiple times throughout the show, big updates and big things coming on top of the already awesome project. So yeah. Appreciate you guys coming on today. Thank you so much, and honored that you guys are my first crypto guests, and I'm very proud and honored to be a part of this ongoing project. And I see a lot of encouragement there in the chat, and just got a couple text messages from people that really enjoyed this stream. So thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for dropping your knowledge and taking your time out of your day to be here with us. And once again, guys, !guest. All of the WeGro links are in the chat for you guys to check out, learn about it even more, go deep down the rabbit hole, and click on those links. And I'm having a gut feeling that this isn't going to be the last time that you guys are going to be on my show. So appreciate you guys. Sean, Walt, Rick, and Justin, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for dropping all of the knowledge with your guys' experience and everything. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I have to say this back to Walt. I have had a great time just from the little bit I've had talk with you guys and getting to know you guys, and I continue to look forward to getting to know you guys even better. And I love it. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for coming on today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us. This has been a blast.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. And as I said, we'll probably see you guys on another Loncar Live in the near future.
Thanks again, Michael.
And also, I have to say this, the kid in me, because I'm a big kid, wants to thank you for incorporating marijuana and crypto, two of my absolute favorite things into one. So thank you so much. Cheers, guys. Appreciate you.
Cheers. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate you.
There, guys.
Thanks, guys. All right. So the WeGro team in the house today. That was awesome. As I said, awesome not only learning about their project, but learning a lot more about blockchain and also specifically learning a lot more about the medical marijuana industry, which again is tied heavily into this project, which again makes me love this project that much more. And I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Mama in the house saying great show. Cheers, 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 Mom. Mom, Dad, my little brother, thanks for watching. Love you guys so much. And yeah, I know my wife who's taking care of the kids downstairs when I was watching. I love you so much, baby, and thanks for taking care of business for us. And Bosted, Loncar, this Loncar Live was probably the best one ever, as this was so knowledgeable. Bosted, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man. I couldn't agree more. Covered so many different sectors and different categories of things. Crypto, marijuana, blockchain, other business things going on. And again, lots of updates and new things coming to the WeGro ecosystem. So again, exclamation point guests in the chat. Check out their links. Do your own due diligence and learn even more by clicking on those links and checking out everything going on. They hold AMAs on their channel over there on Telegram and Discord. Again, click on those links. Learn, man. That's what we're doing here today. And appreciate the WeGro team for, again, taking the time to come out today. Honored to have them on as my first crypto guest here on Loncar Live. And if you guys are new to my channel, I do this, what I like to call late night talk show stream, once a week. So make sure that your notifications are on when I go live. I usually come on Wednesdays. But as always, this is definitely not my first Thursday episode, as a lot of my guests have busy schedules. As we know, the WeGro Crypto team is very busy, working hard, and continuing to improve their product. If you liked this video, make sure and give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, which is free. And don't forget to click the bell, which will let you know when any new video has been uploaded to my YouTube channel. If you want to catch my streams live, I'm currently streaming all day Wednesdays and all day Sundays over at twitch.tv under the username Loncar Poker. Thanks for watching.